Hello and welcome back to the Dugout podcast. This is episode 96. We did miss last week's games. We didn't miss last week's games, but we didn't get to cover them. Busy week for me and Alex, so we didn't have the chance. But we'll briefly mention them. But obviously, a massive weekend in Scottish football. We are recording this, given our almost immediate reaction to the massive game at Tynecastle as Hearts ran out 2-1 winners coming from behind to beat and all but eliminate Rangers from the title race. I am, of course, joined by my usual co-host, Mr. Alexander Cruikshanks. How are you doing?
I'm very tired, mate. I'm very tired of the work today. I'm still wearing the Primark uniform. So yeah, no, I'm tired. And I'm disappointed. Terrific second half performance from Hearts, probably deserved winners on the day, but yeah, very very disappointed.
Yeah, and that was it. After Rangers took the lead in the first half through Dujon Sterling, a slight bit of fortune, tied to the goal, but a good strike from him deflects off of I think it was Steinwender past Swallow and gave Rangers the lead at that point in the game. And Rangers seemed to grow into the game after that, got control of it, and Hearts really looked the second best all over the pitch. I think it was John Robertson at half time that said they were poor on and off the ball and needed a big change from them in the second half. And that's exactly what we've seen when the manager of the PFA manager of the season, Derek McInnes, made the substitution to bring on Blair Spittle for Islam Chesnikov, and it completely changed the game for Hearts, and they never really looked back. They got the two goals. Kingsley with the first one after Kazrides strike the post, and then Lawrence Shanklin with just an excellent finish is again proven why I think, and I think you share this opinion, Alex, why he's certainly the best probably striker in Scotland, but not only that, he should be starting for Scotland at the World Cup.
Yeah, you know the best compliment I can pay him. I think he's like obviously this is a Scottish channel, so it might not go down too well, but he's like a budget Harry Kane. I think that's the best compliment I can pay him, just in terms of, obviously his finishing ability, but also what he brings to the side. That I think that's something people don't recognise about Harry Kane, and they don't really recognise about Lawrence Shankland either. He's not just but the pair of them aren't just pure goal scorers. They add so much. Obviously, Harry Kane's a bit better than him. But yeah, Shankland is terrific. Fantastic finish from him. Running away from goal, he hits it so cleanly. I just want to say as well for Kingsley's goal, terrific strike from Kazrides in the lead up. So unlucky not to get the goal himself. Rebounding off the post straight out to Stephen Kingsley. But yeah, Lawrence Shankland is excellent, and I think he has to have a seat on the plane or even a starting spot. And
Yeah,
he comes up in the big moment.
yeah, exactly that. It was an excellent finish, world class, I would say, and it hit the back of the net before Jack Butland could really even start diving to get down to attempt to save it. It was struck that well, and yeah, as you said, Alexandros Kazrides unlucky that his effort didn't find the back of the net, but you seen with that first goal that Stephen Kingsley scored that there was just so much more intent in Hearts' play on the ball. Blair Spittle picks it up, dishes it out wide no, it's not Chesnikov, sorry, Kazrides, and then that's how Hearts get the goal, and the goal was kind of coming based off the first 10 minutes of that second half, and then Hearts just kicked on, and Rangers never really looked like getting an equaliser. They had chances. Taylor Asgard hit the bar with a header, I think, if I remember correctly, but I thought Hearts were pretty comfortable in that second half, and Danny Rowe didn't really, I don't think, done enough to really change the game back in his favour after Derek McInnes, you would say, had certainly brought it into Hearts'.
Yeah, I think what I will say though, I don't think there was very many options for Danny Rowe to change it. I think he did leave the subs a bit late. late for my liking. But yeah, I think we've seen the limitations of this Rangers side, especially in the past couple of weeks. And yeah, just and I think Hearts, the way Hearts came out in the second half, they were terrific. Like I said, 100 mile an hour, a complete switch from their performance in the first half, which was very poor. Claudio Braga was barely in the game, but he had a terrific second half. I thought Player of the Year, voted for by the players. He won the PFA Player of the Year award. What Deco wasn't shown that in the first half, but he turned it around in the second. He had a good performance, and I remember I was sitting with my dad watching the game there, and Hearts were, the intensity was up, and I said to him, I think if we need to win, we need to weather the storm here for 10, 15 minutes, and we didn't. Hearts took full advantage of that, and they've done it again. They're just getting by with wins, and now we're in a scenario where if Rangers go to Parkhead and win on Sunday, they could sink Celtic's title hopes. Hearts have put themselves into a great position, obviously, going into this. Rangers are completely out of it now. I don't see Hearts losing all three of their games, and I don't know what would even need to happen for Celtic as well for Rangers to win the league. But I think Rangers are out of it now, obviously Hearts still need to do their job on the Saturday night 8 o'clock kickoff against Motherwell, which will be another cracking game to look forward to. In the split, but yeah, Hearts have put themselves in an excellent position after winning tonight.
Yeah, they certainly have done. And do you think it was a little bit strange that I know he came off in the second half, and I think he was Rangers' first substitution, but you think it was a little bit strange that Andrei Skov got the start? I don't think he appeared in any of the last two games, and then comes into the starting 11. And I think James McFadden said he was more effective today than what he has been recently, but I'm not sure he was. I don't think he really was too effective at all, and
Don't
I
know.
thought that was a little bit of a strange one from Danny Rowe.
He's Scott Wilson has been very poor in his loan spell at Rangers. He's had a couple of bright sparks. He can come up with quality in moments, but he's not done it nearly enough. I thought it was strange to see him in the starting 11. I don't know, although Gassama was really poor against Motherwell, and Scott Wilson was one of the ones who didn't get an opportunity against Motherwell. So maybe he's going, okay, Gassama, you were really poor, so we'll go with Andreas. Scott Wilson here today, try and see if he does anything, but he didn't. Obviously, when Gassama came on, he was poor as well. So yeah, a little bit surprised, and I definitely think Rangers won't be triggering the £10 million buy option in that loan deal. Because he's been nothing short of poor in his spell at Rangers.
Yeah, that's why there will be so much criticism put towards Rangers, the manager, the players, the hierarchy, especially by the supporters, because there's been so much money spent on the players, so much hope from the fans, and belief in this group of players. I think we've both said it on here numerous times that we think.
Sorry, can I jump in? Because I've seen all of this.
Yes.
50 million chat and all that, which fair enough, Rangers did spend a lot of money. However, I think their net spend was actually less than Celtic. I might be wrong, but I think their net spend was less than Celtic. Their gross spend was larger, but their net spend was less because I think they sold close to £30 million worth of players in the summer. Also, as well, I think all this, 50 million chat is just completely dismissing the worst Rangers manager in history. Obviously that is on the board, but there'll be a lot of people out there just going saying all that, and I'm not making an excuse because Rangers probably should have won the league because Hearts have you know, they've been decent. They've been decent all season. Celtic have been poor. It's a perfect opportunity for Rangers. They probably should have won the league. But I think the way people are, I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say here, Ethan, but I think the way people are framing it is as if, Rangers have went out and bought the league and got, £50 million worth of pure liquid gold and all that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, yeah, I know, I completely understand that, but I think it's the fashion that Rangers have went out of the sort of race for the league. That 2 games ago, uh, there was Rangers were the most people's favourites, and you, of course, said on here that you thought Rangers were going to win every game of the season, and to lose the next two, and now we're looking at Rangers as heavy favourites to not even finish in any of the top two or be in the Champions League places is really disappointing. And the questions have got to be asked: that has Danny Rowe got the best out of that group of players? Because yes, you make the correct point that Russell Martin came in and it was an absolute disaster of an appointment, which the board rightly obviously went about their business to get rid of him and get Danny Rowe in, which was a success and has been a success to get Rangers back into the equation. But from what they done in January, the quality of the players they brought in, I just think the Rangers fans are probably right to have expected more, and that's why there'll be so much pressure now on Rangers and every part of Rangers. So yeah, I think before we sing our probably final praises for Hearts, not for this season certainly, but on this match, where do you think Rangers go next? Do you think Danny Rule will be the man to
Yeah.
take them into the next season?
Yeah, come on. I think anyone
Well,
I think
just
anyone
asking the question.
I think anyone suggesting he's not going to be there is a bit, or one of them going is kind of off the rocker a little bit. He's come in. I This might be a bit unpopular, but I think he's made a lot of these players look better than they actually are. Um, because we've seen some of the level of these guys like under Russell Martin, and he's managed to salvage a few of them. I mean, Emmanuel Fernandez has been excellent. Even Nasser Giga has looked good. Um, and I think yeah, he's tailored the style to a lot of these guys because um, Nasser Giga in the Russell Martin system with no protection, trying to play on the halfway line all the time. He just got ripped to shreds and he looked like a bomb scare. Under Danny Rowe, it's been a different story. So I think anyone suggesting that he shouldn't be there next season is wrong. I know everyone's entitled to your opinion, but if your opinion is that you're wrong, your opinion is wrong, and you should go and evaluate how you formulate opinions and make decisions.
No, I would agree with you. Initial thought after the game, I would agree with you. I think with Danny Rowe, he's shown a lot of promise in what he's done, and if he has a full summer transfer window, then he can possibly, well, obviously be in a better place to give Rangers a platform to start on the season rather than having to climb back the deficit to Hearts and Celtic like he has this season. Although I do think there's a way that he can end this season in a positive note in comparison to a really really terrible note, and of course a perfect opportunity to go to Celtic Park next weekend, as you referenced to, and really probably sink Celtic's hopes as long as Hearts can better their result at Motherwell. But yeah, just speaking of, we spoke obviously a lot about Rangers, but no, credit to Hearts. I thought they were excellent and thoroughly deserving of their win, and it's just looking ever closer that they are going to do it. I think we've always had our doubts, and rightfully so, but they just look so sure and confident in themselves that they have got the quality
I
in the
think
tank to win these next 3 games and do the business.
the feeling I've got about Hearts, there's the squad is no matter what happens within the 90, they think they're going to win. And you have to have that mentality if you want to win a title. And I think, they've shown that. Because this hasn't been, as good as Hearts have been, they haven't been blowing teams away 4-5-0 every single week. It's been a tough season for them. They've had to face adversity, and we spoke about a lot about how Celtic have struggled with adversity. I don't think we've maybe talked about how Hearts have had to face it, and they've overcome it a lot of the time. You know, they've gone back, they've gone. I think they've gone behind in like their last three games, maybe. Um,
Yeah,
a,
yeah, you're right.
a stat Ian Crocker read out during the game as well was, they've got the most points this season from losing possessions. It's 16. It might be up to 19 now, obviously, after that. So, um, that's the mentality Hearts have got. I just feel like they think they're going to win. They don't care what anyone else thinks, and that is what is getting them through so far. And Celtic, I think have been similar, although I'm not as confident about Celtic's ability to do that. They've maybe looked a bit shaky. I think they were good in the first half against Hibs. Obviously, though, they did concede to a team with 10 men, and Ian Acho had to come back and score, and they did get the win in the end. But um, I don't know. I feel like Hearts just have that. I don't know what you would call it, that bit of magic at the moment, where where they will win no matter what happens within the game.
Yeah, and we obviously reference to that massive fixture on Saturday night, which will be a great one when they head to Fir Park. But like another team we'll get on to, Hearts are alongside them and being the only team not to lose to Motherwell this season. So they'll take a lot of confidence into the match with that behind them on top of obviously their recent form. And yeah, the last three games went behind in the derby last weekend. Obviously, the red cards to Hibs are going to help them get back into the game. But when you've got all the pressure on you to score the goals against nine men, they still went and done it. They didn't give up. They showed the resilience when Hibs were defending their penalty box well and got the goals. And then obviously before that at Tynecastle, they beat Motherwell from behind. So yeah, I think Celtic fans will have a laugh tonight probably at the fact that Rangers are all but out of the race. But if you're looking in the face of a sort of title prospect for Celtic, it's still a long, long way away. And are the Celtic team good enough to pick up three more points than Hearts in the next three games? I don't know if they are. So yeah, we're obviously going to see. And you mentioned the Celtic at Easter Road on Sunday, and we'll just unless you've got anything else to say on this game, I think we'll probably move on to that one, which was obviously
Don't really want to talk about Rangers anymore. So yeah, let's move on.
yeah, obviously I don't think the game there that's just past us was filled with many controversial incidents, but the game at Easter Road certainly was. Obviously, Celtic came out on top, 2-1 winners. 2-1 winners to apply the pressure on both, of course, Hearts and Rangers. Celtic started the game probably the better of the two teams and actually had a good first half performance, as you referenced to. And then the 21st minute, Jamie McGrath sent off for a horrendous and what I would say really silly tackle. No need to make it at all. Studs showing he's late at sort of every sort of thing that can point towards a red card. I think he can't really have any complaints. David Gray certainly didn't after the game. And Hearts 4 red cards in 3 games. What's going on today? What's
Habs,
going on with David Gray's team, Alex?
Habs, by the way,
Habs.
dangerous. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. This was I was about to say horrific and honking, and I nearly said horrific. Uh, but honking challenge from Jamie McGrath. AJ just back from his injury, nearly getting his legs snapped in half. Um, Good thing he's all right. He did come off in the second half, but I think that was just maybe due to fitness. So yeah, good for him because that would have been tragic. after spending the majority of the season on the sidelines. He did grab an assist later on for Dizzy Maeda's goal. Maeda seemed to be in top form, back in top form. However, there's rumours going around that he's perhaps injured, which would be unfortunate for him. But I think it's three in his last three for Maeda, so he's been really really good. But yeah, definitely a red card for Jamie McGrath. Um, I want to maybe shouldn't have been the only red card in that opening 20 minutes. I know you disagree with me on this, Ethan. But I think Colby Donovan should have been sent off for his challenge on. I think it might have been Jordan Obita.
Well, and is this the previous game at Easter Road?
Yeah, yeah. The previous game at Easter Road.
Okay, well, but
Some very similar.
right. Well, I think we discussed that at the time, and I think we came to the conclusion that I didn't think it was a red card. I think most people agreed, and I think you thought it was a red card, and it is a similar tackle, um, right to compare, I would say, but I think they got both decisions right. I think Colby Donovan's is
I just want a little
lower.
consistency.
Yeah,
It's
but
only
as we'll get on to, we don't get consistency in this division.
oh,
But I don't think this is the sort
is this the penalty decision?
penalty. No, no, not the penalty. Well, the penalty decision, the one that Celtic probably should have had a penalty in the second half. I certainly thought, but we'll get to the handball first, or the goal. Sorry, the Hibs equaliser from Joe Newell. Um, Obviously, Celtic completely dominated the first period against the 10 men of Hibs, and then Hibs, right at the end of the first half, come up the pitch with one of their only attacks, and Joe Neal brings the ball down and finds the back of the net to look as it looked like he had given Hibs an equaliser, and then doubts were probably cast across everyone's mind when it looked to being controlled by his hand before he applied the finish. The commentary team certainly thought that. I certainly thought that watching the game, but they decided to despite a check lasting a few minutes, they decided to award the goal, which I thought was bizarre. We know the rule is if a ball is hit to hit the scorer's hand before going into the back of the net, then the goal will be disallowed regardless of where the arm or hand is. I thought that could have applied to this, but obviously not, and we'll get an explanation about that. But a really strange one, really strange goal. Really, it was a strange atmosphere to the game. Hibs didn't bring a
Did
great attendance to their home stadium.
it
Yes.
not like his bicep, kind of? It looks like it has.
Yeah, that's part of the arm.
Yeah, but I didn't think that was part of the. Oh yeah, because that
Well,
McGregor.
you talk about the t-shirt line.
Yeah,
T-shirt line. Well, I think it actually hits his arm and then his hand. I thought, but we've not got the best
sorry, I'm just
replays and conclusive evidence.
watching it,
They
and
obviously decided to stick with the decision,
oh,
and
it doesn't.
Hibs were awarded the goal.
Looks like it rolls down a little bit actually.
Yeah, that's what the goal wasn't very loudly celebrated by the Hibs fans in the stadium at Easter Road because there wasn't many Hibs fans in attendance. Obviously, a difficult scenario with them. Probably some of them, well, certainly some of them wanting Hibs to lose that game, to obviously in favour of Celtic
I think
closing down
that's the
their great
policy, by
rivals.
the way.
Do you?
Yeah, I think you should want to win every football match. That's such a stupid mentality to have. And if anyone has that mentality from any club, is silly. Um, I think it's silly. You shouldn't worry about what others do. You should only worry about what you do. I think
Fair enough.
it's embarrassing and just showing like just proving that your rivals are probably better than you. If you want to,
But is that easy? Is it easy for us to put our two pence in when we are not in the shoes of the Hibs fans?
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't want Rangers to throw a game so Celtic couldn't win the league. You know, if we got to,
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, yeah.
if we got to that scenario on the fight on um, at some point or something in this run, if we got to that scenario, we probably won't. But if we did, um, then I wouldn't want it to be to be anything like that. So yeah, I just I think it's embarrassing. See, just on that goal Joe Newell scored, interesting actually. Parallels between us and the Premier League on the same day. Benjamin Sesko scored a goal in the Manchester United Liverpool game later in the day that did appear to brush his hand before he put it in the net. So maybe there's been a wee change made and we've not heard about it.
Yeah, but I think in fairness, the difference with that one was the contact on Benjamin Sesko's hand was so minuscule that you couldn't maybe conclusively say, even with the cameras they have in the Premier League,
Yeah, but
that
you
did hit
can't
his hand.
really
I
say
thought
it
it did.
actually hit Joe Newell's hand though, can you?
I think you can.
I
If you
don't think
watch the
it does.
replays, I think you can.
I've watched it twice or three times there, and the first time I thought it was his knee. Second time I thought maybe it rolled down and hit his hand. Third time I couldn't tell.
Okay, that's a fair opinion to have. I disagree, but the referees obviously went with that decision, and it meant that Celtic would have to find another goal against 10 men, and they huffed and puffed in the second half, but they
And
did
they blew the
eventually
house
get
down.
the goal. Yeah, they did. And it was Kelechi Iheanacho substitute again, 2 minutes after coming off the bench. It was a corner that was very poorly defended by Hibs. Kelechi Iheanacho had the time to bring it down on his chest and finish past Raphael. No, it wasn't Raphael Salinger, it was John Smith, of course, with Salinger's suspension from the derby. And then Celtic,
By the way,
without
I know we
a
missed
few
that week,
scares,
but
were to hold on for a
I
big
know.
one.
Sorry, I know we missed that week, but can we talk about that Raphael Salinger
What?
red card?
But
What
do you
is?
not think that's a red card either?
No, I do. I want to talk about it. What the hell is he thinking?
I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. It was a terrible decision from him and rightfully punished. I don't know why he didn't just wait or clear the ball is what he had to do really. But obviously he wasn't too sure on where he was and he made a stupid decision which, like Felix Praschlak's second yellow, cost Hibs the game ultimately after they went ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Could have been a very different story if they hadn't gone down to nine. So, um, yeah, but fair play to Celtic. And Kelechi Iheanacho, by the way, found found a little bit of fitness in this back half of the season. A lot of people call him for him to start. I don't think that's. I think he's showing he's better as an impact sub. You have that quality coming off the bench. It's massive. I don't think he could play a good. Maybe I'm over exaggerating, but I don't even think he could give you a good 60 minutes. Kelechi Iheanacho at this point, you know, because he's been plagued by injuries his whole career. I doubt he's ever. Maybe that one terrific season at Leicester was the only time he was properly match fit. So I think bringing him up, bringing him off the bench is the right call. I think if he was fit enough, Martin O'Neill would definitely be starting him. But he's come up in the big moments again. Him and Maeda have been terrific in these past couple of weeks. And he's got a crucial goal. And Celtic level on points now with Hearts. Obviously, this put them ahead, which put the pressure on. No, sorry, this put them level. Sorry,
That's put it on level. Yeah.
sorry. This put them level. Now they're behind. But it put the pressure on Hearts this evening. Sorry, I'm all out of whack. But yeah, it was a really good result for Celtic in a ground that can prove to be difficult for teams to go there. Usually,
Yeah,
an intense atmosphere as well. Not
yeah. We,
usually.
Yeah, we've always seen even great Celtic teams a lot better than this one go to Easter Road and struggle. So it was a massive result to come away with the 3 points. Obviously aided again, like Hearts were, by the fact that Hibs go down to 10 men early in the match. But I completely agree with your points about Kelechi Iheanacho and Daizen Maeda. Maeda looking back to his best of what we've seen last season, 4 goals in his last 3 games. He's obviously been starting up front, and I think what he gives off the ball, we've touched on that point to death. But in the 2 of the last 3 games, he gets goals from pressing the opposition defenders or goalkeepers. No one has really grabbed that third forward spot at Celtic. Daizen Maeda and Yang, obviously, I think very strongly favoured by Martin O'Neill, but Sebastian Tanecki again leaving a little to be desired. And Kelechi Iheanacho, I'd agree, he's not fit enough. I don't think. I think you see that when he plays. You've seen some of the strikes, especially lately. He's got excellent quality on the ball, but sometimes you even seen at Easter Road at the weekend, Celtic are looking to go direct to him in the final stages of the game for him to hold up the ball, win a foul, link play, and he's just not there because he's just not. He's just a little bit lazy, or you can maybe say he's not got the fitness to get to cover the yards, but his quality on the ball is undeniable, and he'll be a massive player for Celtic, whether it is through the starting 11 or off the bench. But yeah, I think that was almost. Oh yeah, it was the penalty incident, which was baffling to me watching the game that it never get given. I think it was Josh Campbell who came off the bench, was shielding out the ball. Benjamin Negrin was next to him, and he just shoved Benjamin Negrin off the pitch in the penalty box. Anywhere else in the pitch, I think it's probably a foul, but they didn't decide to give it. But fortunately, both of these, I'll say controversial incidents, you obviously agree with the referees thinking on one of them didn't contribute to the scoreline in the end, but they may be brought up again if goal difference comes into the scenario come the final day of the season, which it very much could do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this should have been a penalty as well. I don't understand it. This is going to sound, this is maybe the one thing Celtic and Rangers fans agree on. Some of the defenders from the rest of the teams in Scotland get away with murder every single week. Just I don't understand how this isn't a penalty. It's just a blatant shove in the box. You know.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. But the thing is,
sorry, if I'm just going to.
No, on you go.
If this happens in the centre circle, are we looking at this and discussing? Oh, is this violent conduct? They made no attempt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? If this happened in the middle of the pitch, we'd be discussing should he have been sent off, not whether it's a foul. It's a stonewall penalty. Absolutely ridiculous. The referees have been awful this campaign. The lack of consistency, it's a bit like the consistency of a rotten pint of milk. Just absolutely terrible. All campaign. Just yeah. Sorry, I don't know. I don't really have the words without like swearing. Of how bad the referees have been, and this is just another one to add to the tremendous catalogue of howlers we've seen this campaign.
Yeah, I agree with you, and yeah, hopefully they can end the season strong. Is what we can say, but no, it was a really, really poor decision. I think
There's going to be
John
something
Collins
stupid.
it was who went really strong on it on
the last day of the season. Because I think it's looking more and more likely that Celtic versus Hearts is going to be a title decider, right? On the final day. There's going to be something stupid.
I don't know.
Just let me continue my hypothetical. There's going to be something silly, like Swallow scissor kicks Daizen Maeda in the chest or something, and it's not given because they think the goalie's protecting himself. or like Martin O'Neill runs onto the pitch and RKO's. I don't know, Pierre Landry Cavori. And they're like, that's all right, play on. Martin O'Neill's lying there, having broken his hip off the landing of the RKO just in the middle of the pitch. Unbelievable. There's going to be something like that, and the referees are going to be like, that can't see anything wrong there. Absolute. Ah,
No, I don't think that. I think you're maybe. I feel like you might be exaggerating slightly with those remarks, but no, I get what you're saying. We want them to get the decisions right, and there is a fear that if it is a shootout in the final day, that these kind of things could come back to haunt what has been a memorable season for so many of the right reasons. But yeah, really poor decision, and yeah, but luckily it didn't affect the direct outcome of the game, and a massive win for Celtic, and them and Hearts take a step closer to the Scottish Premiership title. Moving on to Saturday's games now, and probably best to start at the concluding game of the Championship split, or the top six split, whatever you want to call it, where Falkirk hosted Motherwell, and Falkirk have been, well, a banana skin for Motherwell, or maybe that would not be doing the Bairns credit. But Falkirk have taken, believe, what would that be? 13? No, not 13. That's not enough. I can't do maths. 10 points from 12 against Motherwell this season. 3 wins and a draw for Falkirk. Excellent record, and they were thoroughly deserving of the win on Saturday. I think they had most of the play, certainly in the first half. Motherwell maybe came back into it a little bit in the second half, you could say, but I think John McGlynn's team well deserving of the 3 points. I think they created something like six, big chances in the game to Motherwell's one, and it was a second half goal from Henry Cartwright, which was the difference. 1 minute after he came off the bench, a really well worked goal. Calvin Miller came inside and played it to Ben Brosio, who allowed the midfielder to run through, and then he smashed in at the near post past Callum Ward. So big win for Falkirk, and puts a lot of pressure on Hibs now after their defeat and the run of defeats, 3 on the bounce. Do you think Falkirk can maybe catch Hibs for fifth place and possibly a European spot, Alex?
no. I think that ship sailed before the split.
They're only 2 points behind. Play them next week.
Yeah, I just don't think. I think they're gonna fall at the final hurdle. I think Hibs will beat them next week. Weirdly enough, I just don't know. It feels like Hibs have. I'm. I need to look at the fixtures. I don't know off the top of my head, but I feel like Hibs have had their number this season. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Falkirk did beat them. What was it? Was it 5-1? Falkirk beat them at
Oh
home
yeah, I forgot
in one
about
of
that
the
one.
games.
But no, but maybe I'll need to reevaluate this. No, I don't think it's like done. I don't think it's like a sealed deal. I'd be stupid to say that because there's only
4-1, sorry, it was 4-1 to Falkirk.
2 points between them. But I think Hibs will prevail and finish fifth.
Fair enough. Well, you could argue that Hibs have played the two hardest fixtures so far. Well, they kind of have, but they've played the top two. So yeah, but Falkirk have also went to Celtic Park, so you could you could yeah, you could argue that. But no, an excellent result for Falkirk, and should it have been the two of the manager of the season nominees going up against each other? Obviously, Jens Berth Velasquez, a notable omission from the final 3 candidates, and obviously it's voted for by the managers,
Who
but he
was
wasn't voted in the top.
who was the final three?
It was John McGlynn for the third season running, of course, won the last two. Derek McInnes, of course, the winner, and Gary Naismith, the Stenhouse-Muir manager, who helped them to a second place finish, which we'll get on to. We'll cover the lower leagues and who won them, and the scenarios going into the playoffs later on.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like for a lot of these though, they have just thrown in a wee lower league guy just to sort of make sure all the
But
way.
I think it's both. I think they were the top three voted by the managers. So I don't know if the managers just not enough of them must have not voted for Jens Bertolaska,
Or
which
they just hate
seems
him,
strange.
hate them all this season.
Yeah, yeah, quite possibly. Apart from Falkirk, obviously, and Hearts. But yeah, Falkirk were thoroughly deserving of their win. Watching the highlights, they had some big chances. Barney Stewart had a few, couldn't quite convert. The goals have maybe dried up a little bit for him. And I seen Steve Clark there. I think it was yesterday actually that he said he's all but, or it was along the lines of he's all but confirmed who he'll be taking to the tournament. And you've got to imagine that Barney Stewart isn't going to be in that on that plane because if Steve Clark's already got them down, you imagine there's going to be a lot of these favourites,
And
which is
Robbie Ewer.
maybe unfortunate for. Yeah, yeah, of course he's picked up form in Sweden, is it? Yeah, Sweden, isn't it? As well. So yeah, we've got so many candidates. I think the championship, the English championship final day was an absolute goal fest for Scottish strikers. I think Hurst, Conway, McBurney, and Stewart, I think all scored. Possibly, I might be wrong. I might be adding one on there and getting too excited, but yeah, they're all certainly trying to make their final impact before obviously Steve Clark concludes his squad to take across to Boston.
Yeah, definitely. Um, although, did we ever talk about Ollie McBurney's weird comments from?
No, what was the weird comment you're referring to?
He was saying that Steve Clark spoke to him and said he doesn't see him as a backup as one of the four, right? Um, like one of the
Oh, I
two.
think I did see this. I think I did see this.
It's like Shea Adams and Lyndon Dykes are these main guys. So if he's going to pick them, he'll be picking them to start over them, and one of them won't be in the team or something like that. Just waffle, just straight waffle. I mean, he's been very good this season. I think there's no denying it. He's had a terrific season for Hull City, but just coming out and saying stuff like that is, I don't know why he would say that. Because to me, I don't care if you need to play a role on the bench or whatever. You pick the best, and then that just means you've got a stronger, you know, contingent of strikers. You don't just pick someone. Yeah. So yeah, if Steve Clark likes him, he should bring him. I don't care if he's on the bench or not. But I think my four has changed. If we are going with the four strikers, I think I would go like the classic Adams and Dykes, um, because I think they're just guaranteed to go. Obviously Lawrence Shankland, he's the first name on the plane for me, um, along with obviously the other ones like McTominay and stuff like that. But and I'd go for Ross Stewart. Um, I think he's been very good for Southampton. I think he could bring something. He's got the physical. So my laptop just shut down there unexpectedly in the middle of the recording, so there's probably a weird jump cut here. I was speaking about Ross Stewart, and why I would bring him. I just think he has the physical attributes to play into Steve Clark's style. He's been scoring goals in the English Championship, and I would much rather have him over the likes of Tommy Conway and Hurst. So yeah, I'd have Ross Stewart on the plane.
Kieran Bowie in with a shout, scored
No,
at the Allianz Stadium at the weekend.
no, no.
No,
He has been diabolical. In
I don't
Italy,
know about that. Have you watched
three
any of his games
goals,
in Italy?
3 goals is so poor.
He's playing in the Serie A,
Yeah,
and he's
for
playing for one of the worst teams in the league.
exactly that's
So
his level. He's playing for the Serie A and the worst team in the league. So
I think you're being harsh on them. But no, I think there's a lot of contenders. I would agree with your first three. I think they're locks, and they will definitely be going. The fourth one's obviously, if it is four, he has to take. Then I think the fourth one's certainly up for contention. But we went on a
Barney
what were we going to
Stewart,
say?
Barney Stewart scored more goals for Falkirk than Kieran Bowie did at Hibs in 10 less games this season. So
Yeah,
if, if you're picking any of them, I think you're picking.
but it's not all about goals, though, is it? It's about overall play and
Oh, right, okay. Strikers, it's not to do with goals, all right. Is that
I
why?
didn't say it's not
That
to
why
do. Right?
Mike's
Did I say it's not to do with goals? I
mm,
said it's not all about goals.
okay.
Kieran Bibby's now playing in a lot better, not a lot better, a better league than the Scottish Premiership, slightly
Come
better.
on, let's be real, a lot better.
No, it's not. Not an entertainment value, certainly not better. But no, he's playing a higher quality league for one of the poorest teams, which will always make it difficult to score goals. And he's found the net a fair, a few times, I'll say. And some big games as well, obviously scoring against Juventus at the weekend. So yeah, anyway, back to this game. Yeah, we went on a little bit of a tangent there, but no, credit to Falkirk, and if they can end the season strongly and maybe just scrape into that fifth place, we'll obviously have a great opportunity next week when they host Hibs to go directly above them if they were to beat them. Then I think that semi-final disappointment against Dunfermline would be all forgotten. But no, an excellent job John McGlynn's done again. We've waxed lyrical about him throughout this season. And yeah, big result for Falkirk. Moving on to the bottom half of the split. Where should we start? We will start in Dundee, where Dundee have bounced back from a really disappointing derby defeat last weekend, which we didn't get to cover. Dundee United, of course, beating them 3-0 at Tannadice. An excellent performance from Dundee United, an excellent result from Dundee United to all but secure seventh place probably for them. And I think they'll have enough to see out that position. They've been largely favourites for it ever since they just about missed out in the top six in the end. But yeah, big win for Dundee. Not really too many chances in this game between Dundee and St Mirren, but Stephen Presley's team get the job done and confirm their safety, all but Joe Wesley with the goal in the 12th minute. It was a nice header from him. And that was about all that really happened in this game. Watching the highlights, there wasn't too many clear-cut chances. I seen that people were saying St Mirren were really, really poor, and there's a lot of concern growing amongst the buddies because it's obviously a massive match next week when they host Kilmarnock, and if they don't get a result in that, then I think they're going to join Livingston, who of course we'll get onto, but their status as being relegated is now confirmed. I think St Mirren will join them in murky water.
Yeah, I think St Mirren, they've been so poor in these past couple of games after um, maybe showing a bit of good form. Obviously, the last one was against Aberdeen. They showed good form against Celtic in the 1-0 defeat at Parkhead. They then came back from 2-0 down in the Scottish Cup semi-final, take it to extra time, and they were then absolutely battered in extra time by Celtic, finished 6-2, and they've just collapsed. They gave basement dwellers Livingston a 2-0 win at the Smizer, and now they have lost to Dundee, who were just battered by their um, I was going to say city rivals, street rivals last week. So yeah, St Mirren are in trouble. I think you look at the championship and the sides who could be coming up through the playoffs, and I'd probably fancy at least two of these sides to beat St Mirren if they came up against them, Partick Thistle and Dunfermline. I'm not so sure about Arbroath, but they're probably in with a decent shout as well. So, yes, St Mirren are in trouble. Big result for Dundee, basically, like you said, all but confirming their safety in the Scottish Premiership. Stephen Priestley proving everyone wrong. I think we all had them 12th, going straight back down at the start of the campaign, but they haven't done that. And I'm looking forward to seeing Elvis in the dugout for another season.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be exciting. And as you said, we had so little expectations for the team that played Dens, and for them to be comfortably sitting clear. And it is still possible that they could fall into 11th, but St Mirren and Kilmarnock would need to win almost all of their games, and
Do
of
they play
course
each
one of
other
them.
next week?
Yeah, one of them would have to win that game, and then I think St Mirren, if they were to lose that game, they would. Anyway, both teams would have to pick up 2 wins from the last 3 games, which I don't think is going to happen. I think Dundee United, Aberdeen, and even Dundee are probably too strong to allow that to happen. Yeah, as I said, there wasn't too much on in this game that really happened in terms of key flashpoints, but credit to Dundee on their safety and the result. More concern for St Mirren, despite Craig McLeish looking like he got a new manager bounce at the start as you went over, but that looks a long time ago now. And despite winning the League Cup and getting to the latter stages of the Scottish Cup, it could really, relegation really is on the cards for St Mirren. Moving into the penultimate game of the weekend, the last game that was played on the Saturday. And this was one that certainly caught me by surprise. It was full time at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock 3, Dundee United 0. After, as you said, Dundee United convincingly beat their rivals the week before, and Kilmarnock lost by another first-minute goal against Aberdeen. I think Kilmarnock conceded 3 opening minute goals in the last 3 away games, or something ridiculous like that. Which is
By,
absolutely crazy.
by the way,
But
just before we get into the ins and outs of this game, I have to say, well done to Kilmarnock. But I don't know, the Dundee United players' feet must have been made of straw, because I'm looking at the stats here, and Kilmarnock had 2.34 expected goals. Fair enough. You expect to see something along those lines after a 3-0 win. Dundee United had 2.11 and 59% possession with 20 total shots, 36 touches in the opposition box as well. I don't know how Dundee United. Max Striek has been given man of the match here on FotMob, so I don't know how Dundee United haven't hit the back of the net here. Absolutely crazy. Max Striek is, I don't know, embodied the earlier form of Jerome Prior and earlier in the campaign, or like I said, the Dundee United attackers' feet are made of straw every time they hit the ball, because I don't know how they've not scored here.
yeah, and I seen that looking at the stats, but from what I heard from Kilmarnock fans and watching the highlights, it didn't really look like Dundee United had too many clear-cut chances. But I suppose you're going to generate quite a high XG when you do have 20 shots. So yeah, Max Triek obviously made a few saves, probably 5 based on the fact there was 5 shots on target. But as you said, credit to Kilmarnock, a massive win for them, which takes them out of the danger zone immediately. But they have to do the job in Paisley next week, or all this work from Neil McCann's side will be unravelled pretty much. But they took their goals really well. Robbie Dees opened the scoring in the 20th minute. It was a Greg Kelty corner, which Dave Richards, who's obviously been the goalkeeper for United the last few games, I believe since Maynard Brewer picked up an injury. And Dave Richards came to try and claim it. He missed it, and Robbie Dees had a pretty much empty net to finish into, which is a good finish from the central defender. And then in the second half, Kilmarnock made the sub. They brought off Nicky Klasenko and brought on Dom Thompson, and that allowed Neil McCann to move the very versatile, as we've seen, Finlay Curtis forward to a more natural role. and he got an immediate reward for that. The manager, when Finlay Cutter scored a really nice goal, through on goal on the left hand side, still a difficult angle, but smashes it in off the far post to get what is, I believe, his second goal for Kilmarnock. I'll double check that.
I think it
Um,
is.
but um, but yeah, a third goal. I don't know. One of them might have been for Rangers. Yes, it was against St Mirren.
Scored against St Mirren.
Yeah. So two for Finlay Curtis, and I think it's worked out for him at Rugby Park as would have been hoped for Neil McCann and Billy Dodds. Obviously, I think they take a lot of pride in his career, having been part of his development at Rangers last season, and of course now. But he's been a massive part if they are to stay up, helping them stay there. But there was some other really good performances as well. Aaron Tishbola looked really good, obviously in his 20th spell at Kilmarnock, and then right after they got the well, not right after, sorry, just over 10 minutes after they got the second, Kilmarnock got the third. Terrible error from the young central defender, Dundee United. Sam Cleo Harden, it was, in fact, short back pass back to his goalkeeper. Joe Hugo got in and finished past Richards to make it 3-0 to Kilmarnock, and there would have been no way back for Jim Goodwin's team at that point. And yeah, for Dundee United, as I said, they look good for seventh place. I've seen throughout the season Dundee United fans being unhappy with Jim Goodwin and maybe want a change, but I don't think Dundee United can expect to be top six every season, especially with the turnover they had in the summer. So yeah, I think Jim Goodwin's done more than a solid enough job. Although the performance of the weekend wouldn't have suggested that. But Neil McCann certainly getting the best out of the players at home, but they'll need to turn their away form round if they want to win that massive relegation 6-pointer at St Mirren Park on Saturday.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't really know what to add to that. You've said quite a lot there.
Yeah.
I, I agree.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't think there's much more to say on this really. It sets up what will be an excellent match, as I said, in Paisley next week.
Now on
For
to my favourite game of the weekend.
well,
Red, Red Hot Levy.
oh right, okay, yes. The Friday night game. We've not had many of them, have we, this season?
Oh, we have.
But it brought goals and it brought entertainment and it brought another point for Livingston. The story of
Not coming too little too late.
yeah, but that's been the story under Marvin Bartley. They've just not they've been competing, they've been in the games, they've been playing well. They've just not done enough to get enough wins over the line. Of course, they did get their second win of the season last time out against St Mirren, which further I think jeopardised their situation. But of course, Kilmarnock's win um, relegated confirmed that Livingston will be going down, which we've known for a while. But I think Livingston will take a lot of pride and hope from the performances, and I would say that Marvin Barley definitely deserves to see the team into next season. Would you agree, Alex?
Yeah, 100%. I think him in the championship will be quite effective. Yeah, I totally agree. Not a great result for Stephen Robinson. Obviously, I think he just needs to. It's kind of dead rubber for Aberdeen now, and they'll sail into the next season, and he'll need to regroup. But yeah, but I think Marvin Bartley definitely deserves the opportunity to try and bring the Lions, the Levy Lions, back up to the Scottish Premiership, and I'm sure he'll make a good go of it. Obviously, he's not. Previous managerial stints at Queen of the South haven't worked out for him. Maybe he's eased up on the Xbox chat, but because this is the modern day we live in, and a lot of these guys coming through have just grown up with technology, so maybe he just needs to calm down a wee bit. But yeah, I think he's made a good showing of it as Levy manager with a squad that is clearly not up to the standard of the league.
Yeah, exactly that. And you would say an encouraging point for Livingston for the future, but for the present, as we've seen with the confirmation on Saturday, it doesn't really do anything for them. But yeah, I would completely agree with what you said. I think Marvin Bartley should lead the team into next season. For Aberdeen, not a great point for them, but moves them ever closer to safety. And we knew it wasn't going to be pretty since Stephen Robinson came in. And I think we had them as favourites for that 11th place at one point. So credit to the manager and the players for getting safety over the line, which I think they probably have done now. 7 points clear. I think you
Yeah,
can probably say
that's
that's
safe.
that's safe. Um,
Rangers are 7 points behind
yeah,
Hearts and they're out of the title race, so we'll call that safe. But
yeah.
I've got
I was
the
just
I've got the
Sorry, I was just going to go through the goals quickly in
okay.
this game. Mitchell Frame got the first goal. He cut in off the left hand side and put it in with his right foot. I think it was. I believe that's his first professional goal since signing from the Celtic Academy. That was a good finish. That was after Yossi Olasanya probably missed the worst one
Mitchell
on one
Frame not
miss.
score in the last one against Livy,
I don't think he did. Did
like
he?
the 6-2 or whatever it was.
No, no, I don't think he did. It says here it's his first goal, and I'm pretty sure I've seen somewhere it was
Oh,
his first goal.
okay.
Um, I think. Anyway, I'm 90% sure. But yeah, it was after Olasanya missed. I don't know if you've seen it, Alex, but pretty comical. Unfortunate for Olasanya, but he was through on goal, 1-on-1, and his shot was so badly put wide that I don't think it even went out. So it didn't register as a shot on FootMob, which is really poor. I think Stuart
Oh,
Armstrong had a 1-on-1 chance as well. This was all before Joe Noble equalised in the second half, and Livingston looked the better team in the second half. But it was Aberdeen who took the lead again. Slight, well, no, very fortunate, you would say. Kevin Nisbet wins the header from, I think it was a free kick, and then it hits off Finlayson, unfortunately, into the back of net, an own goal. For the defender stroke midfielder, the versatility man. And then Robbie Muirhead, who came off the bench, scored an excellent goal from outside the box. No celebration from him, probably because of Livingston's predicament and the fact that they needed a win in this game, really, to have any hope of fighting back a unrealistic challenge of avoiding relegation. But a great goal nonetheless. And yeah, what were you going to say before I interrupted you?
I was just going to say, if you want to move on, I've got the championship table here, and then we'll go down the leagues.
Yeah, but we'll just this week, obviously, the end of the lower leagues, the Championship League One and League Two. So we're going to congratulate the winners and look at the playoffs, which, as you're watching this, might have already started. Obviously, I think it's tomorrow night that the playoffs start. So more entertainment for Scottish football in the lower leagues.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting on the championship, the relegated side is Ross County. Back-to-back relegations for the Staggies. Airdrie are in the relegation playoff position. Now we shoot up the table to St Johnstone straight back up. I think we both predicted that. Same with Valakari's side, ended up finishing 11 points ahead of Partick Thistle. Although it was, I think that is a bit of a I don't know, that table can fool you because it was a lot tighter for most of the campaign. But St Johnstone do go straight back up, and here are the playoff teams. So we've got Arbroath and Dunfermline playing tomorrow evening in the first leg of the playoffs. Obviously, Dunfermline finishing in fourth and Arbroath finishing in third. The winner of that will obviously play Partick Thistle, and then the winner of that will play St Mirren. So that is it for the Scottish Championship this season. Now moving on to League One. Kelty Hearts finished rock bottom of the Scottish League One. They are going down. Hamilton Accies finished in the relegation playoff position. However, if it wasn't for points deductions, they would have finished third. Um, so Uh,
Ollie Shaw got the league player of the season, didn't he? I think. I'm pretty
yeah, I think
sure
he did.
he did.
Yeah,
So
they've actually not been very bad just because of off the pitch issues. Hamilton Accies in a relegation playoff spot could be in League Two next campaign. Inverness Cali Thistle did win League One, and in the playoff spots are Alloa Athletic, Queen of the South, and Stenhouse Muir. So that's your Scottish League One, all the stuff from there, all the big talking points. Moving on to League Two, Edinburgh City are not going down yet. They are in the playoff. Just don't. I don't want to get into this, but I think the bottom, the pyramid system's rigged against the Lowland League and the Highland League, and the winners of the Highland League, aren't even getting to play in the playoffs. We
yeah,
could we could do a
is
whole
it
video.
because of is it? It's
Oh no,
because it's a
it was
licensing issue, isn't it?
yeah, it was the Highland League or the Lowland League. The winners of that aren't even getting to play in the playoff because of a licensing issue. So we could do a whole video about that. But anyway,
Yeah. And Edinburgh City, like you were speaking about Hamilton, Edinburgh City, they get deducted 15 points, and they were really good this season as well, and would have finished a lot higher. I think they beat not Aberdeen. They beat Dumbarton at the weekend 5-0, and I think they beat Dumbarton in all four games. But fortunately for Dumbarton, obviously they've had their off the pitch struggles this season as well. They fortunately reduced less points than Edinburgh City, so they survive.
yeah. Um, East Kilbride won the league, so back-to-back promotions for them. Absolutely battered Clyde on the final day, where their main title challengers, the Spartans, drew. Unfortunately for them, so they will be in the playoffs alongside Clyde and for Athletic, who I have a scarf of on my wall. So that'll do it for the all the lower leagues in Scotland. Some exciting talking points. East Kilbride and Ross County being in the same league, so weird to me, my hometown team. So yeah, very, very
They
interesting
would have
stuff.
been they would have been six divisions apart a few seasons ago, and now they're in
I
the same
know.
season. Yeah, very interesting. I think that's all we've got to cover this week. Obviously, we missed last week, but we will be back after a Derby day next week. So, thank you very much for listening and watching, and goodbye.